went to the library this time and found a few really cool books that we didn't have to be able, and I wanted to read to you guys. So the book I chose to read to you first for tonight is A Peter Rabbit's Tale by the author Beatrix Potter. She was typically known for writing children's books about animals. And what an interesting fact is that her very first works that she published was from 1902, very long time ago. So the book that Grandma's going to read to you tonight is Good Night, Peter. There you go. You see the mommy and the her little baby rabbit, and he's got a little tiny baby rabbit. Let's get started. It was nighttime, and the silvery moon was shining over the woods. Inside a warm, cozy burrow, 4 little bunnies were tucked in bed, up in bed. Their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cotton-tail, and Peter. You see them in their little tiny little beds. Look at them. They're all cozied up. It looks like 3 little sisters, maybe. Maybe. There's just no way of knowing. I'm just thinking of the colors. Peter had slept in this room for a long time. He shared it with his 3 playful sisters. It was a bit of a squeeze. Mrs. Rabbit thought it was time for Peter to sleep in a room of his very own. Ooh, he's a big boy now. She felt that he could sleep all by himself. This is a board book. I like board books. They last a little bit longer, but sometimes my nails, Grandma's nails, are hard to flip the page. One sunny morning, Mrs. Rabbit set to work making a cozy little room for Peter. This is just a place for you, Peter, she said. A lovely, snuggly spot, perfect for a growing bunny. Oh, look at that. Got a little green dresser. Her pretty little dress. As Peter watched, Mrs. Rabbit bustled about, dusting and polishing, washing and wiping, stitching and sweeping. See, she's a busy mama right there, trying to get his room all tidied up and clean for him. That's a special mama. Finally, Peter's new room was finished, and it was really very lovely. There was plenty of space for everything, even his feet, which felt nice and toasty. It's because he was outgrowing his other bed. Look at that. Boy, he sure does look comfy in there, doesn't he? He's all snuggly up in his bed. Peter had only just closed his eyes when, "Ooh, what is that noise?" said Peter, sitting up in his bed. The noise echoed around his big, lonely room. Peter was never going to be able to sleep now. See that? You know what that noise is? Ooh, you see the picture way over there? It's an owl. Ooh, he's saying, who's there? So my mama used to say, when the owls, that's the way the owls were speaking. They were asking us, "Who's there, mija?" is what she would say. Peter sprang out of his bed and straight back to where his sisters were. "There is no room in this bed," muttered Flopsy. He's trying to squeeze in She's got a tiny little bed, and look how big he is. He's too tall for that bed. Your feet are too cold, said Mopsy, pulling the blankets tighter around her. You can share with me, whispered Cotton-tail kindly. But there really wasn't enough space for Peter. See the top one? This is right there where that one's Mopsy. She's like, your feet are too cold. No, little Miss Kindly says, oh, you can share, but doesn't quite fit in there either. See, that's why Mama said it was time for him to have his own bed, probably his own room. In the morning, Peter was very tired indeed and very glum. He felt a little bit in-betweenish. I'm too big for my old rooms, he explained to Mrs. Rabbit sadly, and too small for my new room. Anything new feels funny to start with, she told him, but you'll soon feel just right. See, she's giving him little loveys. She's helping him understand that, yep, sometimes we do have something new, just like when school starts, the first day of a new class. Even after a long vacation, when we come back, we're like, whoa. But it does. It takes a minute, but you do get back and adjusted. All day, Mrs. Rabbit stitched and stitched. She wouldn't tell any of the bunnies what she was making. That kind of sounds like this grandma right here that you're looking at, because I'm in my room now. I've been moving stuff about, and I've got my sewing machine on my desk, and I'm being real quiet on what I'm working on. Sorry about that. Forgot to show you the picture. See that? She's a busy little bee right there. She knows what she's making, and the other girls, they're playing with the butterflies. You see that? They're playing with the little pretty butterflies. That evening, the bunnies ate a supper of bread, milk, and blackberries beside the fire before bed. My favorite, wild blackberries. Then Mrs. Rabbit gave Peter a new snuggly toy. This will help you feel better, she said. That's what she was working on. You see that? His little toy bunny. She made him a pal. Later, with his sisters fast asleep, Mrs. Rabbit took Peter's hand. Time for bed, she whispered, gently leading him to his new room. Peter's toy felt cozy, and Mrs. Rabbit took him up as she'd always done. So did his new room. There you go. You see that? She's guiding him to his new room and helping him feel comfortable in there. Peter knew he was in the new room, but now it felt more cozy, more peaceful. There was enough space to play, and Peter felt just right. His room, boy, he's got a pretty good sized room. Look, he's got his little toys and his family picture with his mama and his sisters. He snuggled down in his bed and fell fast asleep. Good night, Peter, whispered Mrs. Rabbit. There you go. You see that? Sorry for the picture, but that's what they have at the library, so that way they can monitor the books when they come in. You see that? You kind of see the moon and the stars out there and the birdies. His little tiny little slippers there and his little tiny pal. Sometimes it's nice having a little pal. I remember when I was a little kid, I had tons of stuffies, lots of them. I loved them. I loved them all, big and small. I had tons of them until finally one day my mama said, "Okay, mija, I think it's time to give those away to someone else that might need them," because I was growing up. It was hard to do, but it was okay because she let me keep a couple of them, but just not all the ones that I had. Well, I hope you enjoyed another book by Grandma. Another good night book. You know how I am with the stars and the moons and being able to dream, so nighttime is pretty special to me. And I hope you have a good night, sweet dreams. We'll see you the next time.